All right, welcome. If you're planning a career in business, you need to know the tools that really drive strategy. And today, we're going to pull apart one of the most important frameworks in the entire world of supply chain management, the Kraljic Matrix. I mean, just stop and think about it for a second. A company like Apple or Toyota, how on earth do they manage buying everything from a highly complex microchip all the way down to the cardboard boxes their products ship in? The scale of that challenge is it's mind-boggling. And you better believe the stakes are incredibly high. For most companies that actually make things, the money they spend on parts and services is more than half of their total revenue. This is not some side activity, you know? Procurement is right at the very heart of whether a company sinks or swims financially.
So here's the absolute key. You just cannot treat every single purchase the same way. If you spend as much time and energy negotiating the price of paper clips as you do for a critical engine component, well, that's a recipe for disaster. It's a total waste of resources, it opens you up to all kinds of risk, and at the end of the day, it just kills value.
Now, this is the exact problem that a consultant named Peter Kraljic tackled way back in 1983. He came up with a really elegant, really powerful framework to solve it. So let's dive in and take a look at his solution, the Kraljic Matrix.
So what is it? At its core, the matrix is a way to create a portfolio for everything a company buys, just like a financial portfolio. And it really has two main goals. First, protect the company from any supply shocks. And second, make sure you're using your buying power to get the best deal you can. It really elevates purchasing from just, a simple transaction into a core piece of corporate strategy.
So how's it work? Well, the matrix sorts every single purchase along two key dimensions. First, you've got profit impact. That's basically asking, how much does this item affect our bottom line? Think about its cost, but also its impact on the quality of your final product. Then, on the other axis, you have supply risk. This is all about how hard the item is to get. Are there tons of suppliers, or maybe just one or two? Is the market crazy and volatile? By plotting these two things, we get a strategic map. And once you plot all your purchases on this grid, you see four very distinct categories emerge. And each one requires its own unique game plan. We're going to start with the most important one of all, the critical items.
Okay, so these are the items that are high on profit impact and high on supply risk. This is the absolute lifeblood of your company. Think about the engine for a car or the main processor for a laptop. The whole mindset here is not about squeezing your supplier for the lowest possible price. No way. It's all about building deep, collaborative, long-term partnerships to guarantee stability, to guarantee quality, and to innovate together.
Next up, let's move to the leverage category. And this is where skilled procurement professionals can really shine. It's a huge opportunity.
Leverage items have a high profit impact. So they're expensive, but they have a low supply risk. That means there's a healthy, competitive market full of great suppliers. Think about the tires for an automaker. In this quadrant, your whole approach flips. Now you are the one with the power. The name of the game is using that power through smart negotiation, competitive bidding, and bundling all your spending to get the best possible deal.
All right, now for a really tricky and frankly dangerous area, the bottleneck quadrant. These items are a real paradox. They aren't all that expensive, but man, they can bring your entire operation to a screeching halt.
So, bottleneck items. Low profit impact, but a very high supply risk. Just imagine a very specific, unique fastener for an airplane that's only made by one tiny company. If they have a problem, your multi-billion-dollar assembly line stops. Here, your mindset has to shift again, this time to pure risk mitigation. The goal is to ensure you never run out, even if it costs you a bit more. That could mean holding extra inventory, or even helping develop a second supplier.
And finally, we get to the routine quadrant. These are the things you need to run the business, but they don't really carry any strategic weight.
So you've got low profit impact and low supply risk. Think office supplies, cleaning services, stuff like that. The strategic mindset here is all about one thing: efficiency. You want to minimize the amount of work, the administrative headache that goes into buying this stuff. This is where you use automation, online purchasing platforms, and things like corporate credit cards to make it as simple as possible. That frees up your team to focus on the much more important quadrants. Okay, so theory is one thing, but let's see how this framework actually plays out in the real world. This is where it all clicks.
Let's take an automaker, someone like Toyota. The powertrain, the engine and transmission, that's obviously critical. It's what makes the car go, it defines performance, and it comes from deep partnerships. Now, tires, they're expensive, sure, but lots of great companies make them. That's a perfect leverage item. But a specific semiconductor chip? Low cost, but as we've all seen, a shortage can stop a factory for months. That's a classic bottleneck. And standard nuts and bolts, the definition of routine.
And you see this same logic everywhere. Let's look at a smartphone maker like Samsung. Their custom cutting-edge display, that's their secret sauce. It's proprietary tech, absolutely critical. Memory chips, they buy them by the millions in a very competitive market. That's leverage. But what about a unique little connector made by only one small supplier? Total bottleneck. And the boxes the phones ship in, 100% routine.
So, let's bring this all home. As a future business leader, why is it so important to have this framework in your toolkit? What's the real payoff here? Here's the key takeaway. The Kraljic Matrix gives you a roadmap. It forces you to put your limited time and resources where they'll have the biggest impact. It helps you see and plan for supply chain risks before they turn into full-blown crises. It shows you where to flex your muscles and get the best price. And, maybe most importantly, it tells you what kind of relationship you need to build with every single one of your suppliers.
You see, at the end of the day, this is so much more than just a chart with 4 boxes. It's a strategic way of thinking. And understanding these principles is really what separates someone who just buys things from a true strategic supply chain leader, the kind of person who can navigate incredible complexity and create real, lasting value for their company.
So, I'm going to leave you with this one final thought. As you go out and start your careers, I guarantee you are going to face a major challenge related to procurement. The question is, what will it be? Will you be the one negotiating a massive multi-million-dollar leverage contract? Will you be tasked with building a critical partnership from the ground up? Or will you be the hero who has to solve a sudden bottleneck crisis? The Kraljic Matrix is the map that will help you find your way.